The following episode is brought to you by Poison City Brewing, proud makers of Durban Poison Cannabis Lager, the beer that invites you to live your poison.
Welcome back to another episode of Sludge Underground. Today I've got Carlos with me from the band Deadline. You may know Deadline from a YouTube video that we did about the SAMAs, the South African Metal Music Awards. And yeah, Carlos, tell us a bit more about the band and what you do in it.
Right, how's it, man? Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it. We're an old school heavy metal band. We formed late 2014 and we've been going ever since. We play, so basically we are basically very close to being the only old school heavy metal band in the country. We flirt with various genres like power metal, thrash metal, hard rock, heavy metal, but we kind of in that whole 80s, early 90s kind of frame. We've actually coined ourselves, we've invented a genre to basically coin us, called the New Wave of South African Heavy Metal. I am the vocalist of the band, and we're a six-piece.
So you guys have been around for a while. Are you guys formed from existing bands that were around, or has it just a group of guys who came together and decided we're going down this path and this is what we're going to do?
So, yeah, look, it kind of, most of the guys in the band had actually never really sort of been in bands that had really played, in the circuit before. I was, at the time when we started, I was singing for a Metallica tribute band up in Pretoria called Gunship, with some of the old guys from Shadow Lord and Not My Dog and bands like that. And so basically how it all happened was our guitarist, Lashak, stage name Raven Chaos. We've all got stage names. He auditioned to replace one of the guys in Gunship on lead guitar. Gunship was pretty volatile. Every second week one of us was leaving. And he never got the job, and we sat just chatting afterwards because I'd actually knew from a friend's friend, etc., and he had some pretty cool hard rock riffs. So I was like, why don't you start your own band? Thrash is not for you. You need to be playing something that is more melodic, but a bit slower, a bit groovier. So yeah, he then got a mate who, our bassist Basil. He's like a massive heavy metal fan, but he'd never picked up an instrument. I was in his middle 30s, so Lashak contacted him and was like, listen, but I've got some songs I'm putting together. Do you want to learn how to play an instrument? I'm looking for a bassist. Baz hadn't really thought about it, and then at the time he just kind of took the bait, and they started him. Lashak started kind of developing his music in his man cave with Baz, and then he, after the failed Gunship audition, he contacted me and he's like, would you like to help us out with vocals, vocal melodies, etc., with lyrics, etc.? And I was like, yeah, sure. I mean, got a bit of extra time, let me have a look at it, and then sort of just grew from there.
That's fantastic. So think of it as you guys have made such a name for yourself in the metal community. If I'm not mistaken, you've won a SAMA as well. And for someone to have just, been sort of, how do I say, conscripted into a band from no experience of playing an instrument, that's actually quite fantastic.
Yeah, no, he's the thing is, we're kind of, what we try to do is we try to bring that old school sort of 80s kind of vibe. So we're more of a performance, more of a show than anything else. Like whenever people ask me, what do you do in the band? And I actually never say I'm the singer. Today was one of the first times. I always say I'm a front man. So we've got that all. I mean, Baz plays his bass parts aren't like rocket science. And we're really more about, we're not very, the solos are a bit complicated, but we're not very technical. We're not like proggy. We just like in your face, balls to the wall, what you see is what you get.
It's about the show. It's about the performance, the vibe, everything.
We want to take you back to the 80s, but we want to do it without the attitude, because there's a lot of those older bands that get up on stage and got this Mursa Houden, that whole...
yeah, no, I feel you, I understand.
Black metal versus old school metal versus prog versus core. It's like, we welcome everyone at our show. We don't give a shit. We just want to bring that old aesthetic. We want to bring that power, but we want to, it's like this all-encompassing kind of feeling, and it's gone down. So far so good. We've won 4 South African Metal Music Awards, which is pretty cool. Recognition from your peers is always lekker, and made some lekker bills, and we just keep going from strength to strength, which is pretty cool considering we were all like in our middle 30s when a lot of guys have never been on stage before. So yeah.
That's fantastic, though. That's so cool to hear. You say you guys have won 4 SAMAs. Which awards did you win, if you don't mind breaking that down for me?
Okay, so 2016 we won Best Newcomer. 17 we won Best Live Act, as well as Best Old School Heavy Metal Band. And then 2018, the awards were obviously dished out last year. We won Best Old School Metal.
Oh, that's fantastic. Can you tell me a bit more about the music? You guys say that it's more, it's about the performance and all of these things, taking it back to the 80s. Your songs, what are they about? Is there a message behind them? Is it all about that good time?
It's a bit of everything. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, like, I'm the lyricist, so normally, like, I get given the stuff out by the guitarist, and I do all the arrangements and everything. And it's whatever, like, wherever the music takes you. Like, when we first started, we were very unsure whether we were going to be a hard rock band, or a metal band. So a lot of our stuff just lent very much to the 80s, and we didn't know where we were going to land. And so if the song sounded like it was going to be a dirty biker song, then, let's sing about, blood and revenge. If the song felt like it had, like it was going to take you somewhere, I'm like, all right, let's make this an anthem, We sing a lot about historical things, like White Death is about a Finnish sniper during the Winter War in World War II. On the new album, Hope and Praise, about Joan of Arc. So, yeah, we try to mix it up.
That's cool. I think one of the most recent things that I've watched on YouTube is Confessions of a 45. And that's a hell of it's a dope song. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Is there any other message behind that, or?
Confessions, what we just did with that is we just wanted to make an inanimate object like a gun. We wanted to give it like a human sort of persona, and it's just this gun like getting to the end of its life, and it's like, I've done so much harm, but I've killed so many people. But unfortunately, that's why I was made. I was built to kill, kind of thing. So it's just this gun kind of going through the like going through an existential crisis, really. Why do I do what I do? We just thought it would be a cool kind of idea. It was actually inspired by an old school goth band. They had a song called, what album? Was it a song or an album? Confessions of a Night. Was it a goth band? No, Jesus and the Mary Chain. Was it Jesus and the Mary Chain? Why have I just hit a blank? But anyway, I kind of got the idea from that, and I was like, so we just wanted to give this gun like a bit of human form,
It's such an interesting concept, though. Like, I listening to the song, I would never have thought that was what it was about. Like, I didn't look into it like that.
When it's old school heavy metal themes, you don't really need a lot of interpretation, If it's about a girl that's coming out for blood, it's about a girl coming for blood. But we've got 2 or 3 songs like Burn, Confessions of a 45. I mean, even Break the Silence. You can interpret it in so many different ways. You can have a lot of mix up the writing for that and make it more metaphorical. And I suppose, if the listener takes something different, then that's cool. At least they're taking the time to listen and interpret, which is power.
No, that's fun. That's fantastic. So now, once again, going back to the sort of the time that you guys started, the 2015. Have you guys had any member changes since you guys got together? Has it just been one consistent lineup, or have you guys cycled through any members? Because remember you said Gunship was kind of volatile. Have you had that like a more consistent?
Luckily not in Deadline. I'm about the most volatile in the band. Our original drummer left a few shows in. But when he took over, a guy called Lee, he actually, he plays in a lot of bands, like he was in Undertone, and he plays in Son of Hawk. He was in the System of a Down tribute band. And so at the time, I think he was kind of helping us out, more than anything else. And, he just wasn't really buying into the sound. He come to practice, he wasn't really listening. And I immediately picked up on that, and I lost my cool with him. So we had a bit of a disagreement. He left. And then we got Leshek's mate Mark. He actually hadn't played drums for ages. He joined us, and we just built it up from there, man. I mean, it's been, like I said, it's been guys that didn't know how to play instruments. It's been guys that had given up on playing instruments. So it took us some time to kind of just get everything going again. I mean, look, Lee is a fantastic drummer. He was probably my favorite drummer. Well, one of my top 3 in the country. So we lost quite a lot with Lee, but what we lost with Lee skill-wise, we gained with Mark in different avenues, and he bought into the project, into the dream, and he's been ever since. And we added a guitarist inadvertently end of 2018. We got 3 guitarists. Leshek was supposed to immigrate with his family, so we replaced him with a friend of the band called Warwick. His stage name is Judgmental. And then when the immigration fell through, we were like, look, we can't get rid of Warwick, man. Because he'd actually been... Warwick joined us in Gunship, and then they fired him 2 kicks in. And we went with it, Obviously, it's Maiden is a 6-piece with 3 guitarists, so we thought, okay, we'll stuff it. We've been compared so much to South Africa, they call us South Africa's Iron Maiden. I was like, well, fuck it, let's do it. But it's proved to be pretty hard, especially because of the venues. With mixing 3 guitars, it's a massive headache. So we are a soundy's worst nightmare. 3 guitars and a wireless mic.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Yeah. So we're feedback central. If you ever come to Deadline show, bring your muffs.
So, you were saying about like having the challenges of having 3 guitarists. Now, does that also, having the general size of the band and considering the general size of most South African venues, does that also cause a bit of a cramped space? Does that affect how you guys fit on stage?
Look, it's tough, but it doesn't affect the music. Like we've got a rule. One of our first, so we've got a few rules that we kind of try to abide to with every live show, and one of them is own your space. I move around a hell of a lot, so I always tell the guys, look, don't worry if the place is too small. Focus on your guitar work. Focus on your instrument. I'll make the rest happen. So it can be tricky. Look, there's no Deadline show without blood and bruises and all sorts of crap like that. Because I also sing a lot with props. I've got a 2-meter chain, all sorts of things. So it can get a bit cramped. But look, you make do with what you have. First and foremost is you play the music right and then give a show. There's certain shows where I'll keep the chain at home because I know we'll be too close to the crowd because I've smacked 1 or 2 people and it's not that.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, there's a lot of people will warn you if you go to a Deadline show, be careful about how close you stand because that chain, and it's not like that. Well, our second last show this year smashed me in the teeth. I thought I chipped the tooth up.
Oh God, I can only imagine. Is it one of those thicker chains, or is it like one of the?
Yeah, I went to Builder's Warehouse and I just got 2 meters of chain.
Oh God, I could just imagine. I could just imagine the impact that would have had.
Yeah, no, look, there's marks all over my legs because of that chain. It hits my shins regularly. Also spend a lot of time on stage on my knees. So, yeah. Look, a Deadline gig. If you don't leave a Deadline gig, well, at least the band members, if they don't leave either bleeding or in pain or bruised or something.
It wasn't a show.
No, we don't take no. We take it very seriously. If it's gonna, especially, I think the thing for us, and it's because we started at such a late stage. We get up on stage, we play with a lot of aches, and a lot of kids are in their early 20s, middle 20s, and so for us it's like a pride thing, man. A lot of guys, they get up, they play the heaviest metal, and they look like they've just stepped out of a braai. For us, it's leathers, battle jackets, high tops, bullet belts. We've got the chains, whatever. We really want to put on a good show. Even if you pay $40, but we want you to enjoy the $40. We take our live performance very seriously.
That's so interesting though, because more people should be doing that. I mean, I would say I'm one of these youngsters in their 20s that you would be referring to, because I think the last gig I played in shorts, sneakers, and a t-shirt. So I feel you, and your approach to your stage presence sounds absolutely fantastic. I haven't had the opportunity to see you guys live, but even in your music videos and stuff, you can see that you are incredibly charismatic, and it would be a very entertaining show to watch. What is your approach to stage presence? Where do you draw that inspiration? Is it from the same sort of bands that you draw inspiration from musically?
Look, I think I've always been quite an extroverted kind of guy. Look, I'm Aries, so that's already fucking the way. But I'm extremely passionate about the music. Not only heavy metal, but grunge, goth music. I mean, I grew up at a time when, back when I was in high school in the early 90s, and we really looked up to these guys, Phil and Selma from Pantera, from Iron Maiden, and Chris Cornell from Soundgarden. So yeah, so when I get up on stage, it's there, it's just like, you're just trying to, you want to go, it's sort of in you, like that whole 80s kind of. So I suppose I'm very, it's weird, we're an old school metal band, but I'm very much influenced by Eddie Vedder and Chris Cornell. I was a massive grunger back then. So I mean, a lot of my mannerisms are similar to them, but when I'm on stage, I try to use sort of a blend of Phil Anselmo and Bruce Dickinson. Bruce, because obviously, the music, and Phil, because I just love the Phil that, 1 minute he was singing, next minute somebody's getting punched in the face, which is really cool. Obviously we don't go out to punch people in the face.
You gotta keep a heads up. You gotta know. You gotta be prepared, basically.
Yeah. Also, the thing is, and I mean, look, I don't know. Sorry, what band are you in?
I play for a band called Thorns of Ivory. I actually play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Matthew Howes is our vocalist. I'm pretty sure you know Matthew.
Yes, okay, of course. I think we've played with you guys. Didn't you guys come up for Spawnfest?
No, you played with Imperious Vision, and Matthew was doing a song, was featuring a song with them.
Okay, you're right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but that's just the thing, man. And I mean, the things why I mentioned the whole shorts and things, because unfortunately, like, I mean, and you'll know, you're in the scene when like the fans go out to watch bands these days, they're very much focused on death metal, core, be it deathcore, metalcore, as well as like proggy kind of music. And old school heavy metal's become a bit of an afterthought. You know, I often see on Facebook how people refer to Megadeth and Metallica as dad rock. So, you know, so for us to try, unfortunately, like the people that would listen to our music are all 35 and above, and they're married, and they don't really go to clubs. So for us to like pierce through the scene, we had to do what we had to do. I mean, if we got up on stage and we were playing music from the 80s and we got up just like wearing our shorts or whatever, it would have been much harder for us to have broken through. You know, whereas I think for you guys, I think it's like it's easier because you're doing. I mean, a lot of the bands that, I mean, like if I watch like a lot of these American bands and British bands and European bands that play like death metal or whatever, I mean, the guys get up in shorts and sneakers.
Yeah.
So for us, like, I mean, we already were fighting kind of against a lot of the youth thinking we were dad rock or whatever. So I can't get up on stage and play dad rock, let's say, and then just fucking hold the microphone and not move around much and not have blood and not, like, I've got to fucking deliver. Like, and I've got to deliver extra. We got a lot of fans that don't even like our music.
They just they like the performance, but that's a big part of it for any band really is that where a lot of bands tend to fall short is the performance aspect of it, where musically it can be fantastic, but it's kind of boring because there's nothing else going on. There isn't that you know that bit extra, and being a good showman, it makes a huge difference. Like you said, even if there's people who aren't fans of the music, they're a fan of you and your performance. It makes a huge difference.
So I felt like we had to push hard in that department because, at least, you know, the guys, they'll remember. And it's also pretty cool. I mean, we started, you know, we wear our battle jackets at every gig, you know, with our patch jackets and everything. And when we started, we were the only people walking into Rumors or Sundowners, whatever, battle jackets. Now there's so many more, which is so cool. And, you know, so many fans have come up just like, oh, no, you've inspired me to get a battle jacket. I put Slayer on, I put Opeth, and I put, you know, and it's cool because at the end of the day, like, metal is metal. Like, whether you or old school or whatever, you know, it's there. I mean, it's like, I can't, like, for example, I can't get into Swallow the Sun or into another band similar to that if I haven't done my homework and listened to Opeth, you know, like, I can't get into In Flames if I haven't listened to Iron Maiden, that type of thing. So, yeah, it's just obviously like when you're playing stuff that people consider to be outdated, you have to kind of show them, hold on, we're not brutal, but let me show you how dangerous we are, you know. And you know, it hurts our back because we are older, but you got to do what you got to do, man. You got to take pride in what you know when you get up on stage. You got to, if that's your last gig, then it's got to go down.
Yeah, like it's absolutely fantastic. And now with all these performances, all these things you've done, and the general craziness behind shows, which one stands out the most for you? What was that one performance that, you know, as a band, you guys are like, damn, this particular show, this particular night or day or anything? Is there one that stands out particularly?
Yeah, look, there's plenty. I mean, we've done over 100 shows now as a band. I mean, each guy you speak to will obviously have a different favorite, but I'm particularly fond of all the times we've played in Cape Town. I don't know. I think maybe personally, I've just always enjoyed the Cape Town scene a hell of a lot. I've got a lot of friends there. Love a lot of the bands. Love what they do. Love the musos. And it's weird, man. Like, we played Metal for Africa Summerfest, Jan 2018, and a lot of people didn't know it. We had been there a few months earlier to launch our album, and a lot of people didn't know who we were. They just happened to come out at the same night that we were playing because we launched it during Halloween. And we made so many friends and fans. When they came back and they saw us, I just remember, like, at Summerfest, like, I'd never seen anything like that. It was incredible. Like, the drive, the passion, the fire, like, it was nuts. It was only half an hour, but I got off that stage and I was like, holy shit. If this is what it feels like, then sign me up.
That's fantastic. It's nice, like, just that timing as well. Is like, you know, it's Halloween. What do we want to go do? Yeah. We're going to go watch a metal show, and just that timing.
Yeah, that's, I mean, you know, and it's a chance we took when we released the album end of 2017. We wanted to play in every city that we thought, you know, is a biggie city. And a lot of them are hit and miss. For example, we went to Durban, and it was a bit of a miss. We tried to line up, you know, big bands from each city to play with us, but the Durban one just didn't go down very well. But it's a chance you've got to take. If you don't go and you put yourself out there, like, I mean, Cape Town, we got lucky. You know, there was a bite. But for every like bite, there'll be a non-bite. But you've got to take everything like, we're in a scene that's not very big. It's a hard scene to be in, and you've got to take every victory or every place as a massive victory. We were actually supposed to return to Durban now, man. We were looking forward to it. It was our first show cancelled by COVID. Matthew's pit at the Polar.
Oh yes. That was going to be a fantastic show. I was actually quite bleak about that being cancelled.
Yeah, us too, man. We were looking forward to it because the one place that we hadn't really sort of won in yet was Durban, so we were really keen to like go there and turn it all around, man. But look, as soon as this shit is lifted, definitely want to come down there, man. Speaking
about the COVID situation and the lockdown thing, and you mentioned that our music scene as a country it's small and difficult to begin with. What are your thoughts on the sort of the longer lasting repercussions of this on our community, on our music scene?
Look, I think a lot of places will close. But that said, when places close, there's opportunity for new places to open. Look, businessmen remain businessmen, The one thing about this is a lot of places that are going to close, like a lot of, if you think about restaurants, if you think about pubs, but a lot of these guys are business, they're entrepreneurs, they're businessmen, things will open. So I don't know how it's going to hit us, but I know a lot of venues will want to only start booking shows. The venues that remain, I suppose, are going to want to book the shows that are going to bring them feet, So that may hurt heavy metal in the long run, because if you are going to book a show that's got a rock band or a punk band or a Van Coke or a Wonderboom or whatever against a Deadline or Throws of Ivory or whatever it is, we might sort of take a back seat. But I think for now it's going to be tough. We've got a few I don't know how it works in Durban, but up here we've got quite a few promoters, and the guys always book on the same night. Going forward, once the doors open, I think it's going to be imperative that is avoided. Because, you can't be booking 3 shows, 3-4 bands each show, and then, you're going to have to start... You're
going to divide the feet for every other show, because most people would want to go to all of them.
It's going to require a lot of collaboration. I don't know if we have it in us, but I hope we do. But it's definitely going to require collaboration. And it's going to require people sort of maybe piggybacking off the main promoters. Like maybe main promoters coming in, like you get some promoters that just bring international acts or are just dealing the bigger shows to maybe consider something a little bit smaller with local acts, like sort of festival vibes, try to get like maybe 10 bands in or whatever, everyone piggybacking off them. I don't know, it's definitely going to influence. The way out, I'm not entirely sure, man. As it stands, we don't even know when we're going to play again.
Yeah, but all I know is that when those first few shows, when people eventually get back, are going to be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, people will be hungry. Look, we've been asked to play Winterfest, Middle Africa Winterfest. It's happening now on the 1st of August. It's actually going to be broadcast via Discord.
Okay.
So they've asked us to come up with ideas of what we want to do, because they're not sure if it's just going to be sort of acoustic couch sessions, which makes it very hard when you're a metal band, or there's a good chance we may all meet up at somebody's studio. The 2 or 3 bands that are from out of town are going to sort of transmit live from there. So, we're going to have to start thinking outside the box now, because we don't know how long this is going to last.
Yeah, man. I see a lot of the guys are moving towards, live streaming platforms, and as the restrictions are easing and more people are allowed together, even though they're not allowed to go to venues, they are getting together to perform live sessions. And a lot of them have been turning out very decently. There was one that I watched recently that was very impressive. I just can't remember the artist, but it's good to see. We are a very ingenuitive bunch, and we will make these things work.
Yeah, no, look, music can't die, man. It's obviously the arts or whatever been hit quite hard, but you can't live without it. So music is, you'll have to start thinking outside the box and make things happen, and it's up to the fans to want it. If a band's going to do a live stream, whatever, contribute, get involved. It's the only way that we're going to keep this going until the time is right for everybody to be in a venue again.
Yeah. When we were talking a little bit earlier, you mentioned that the new Deadline album is coming up. Can you talk about that a bit more? Can you talk about a launch date, when we can expect to see it, where's it going to be available, and just a bit more about what's going on there, if you can talk about it.
Perfect. So it's a second album. It's called Cathedral Point. It's part 2 to the Black Wolf City story. So our debut album is called Black Wolf City. So our songs aren't thematic, but everything the band does revolves around a theme about a girl called Lady Blitzkrieg that returns to a fictitious city called San Lombardo to extract revenge on Deadline and kill us. So if you see all our merch, everything is very much based around the city, this chick and her wolves. So Cathedral Point is part 2. Basically, it's an old abandoned cathedral in the middle of the town, and Deadline is hiding in there, and they're waiting for an arrival. So on the album cover, you'll see like she stands outside the cathedral gates, looking inside, and we're a bunch of cowards and we're hiding. You can see our silhouette through the window. So yeah, release date is 26th June, so it's around the corner. First single is going to be released on the 19th. It's called Before I Die. We had to make a few changes because we wanted to shoot a music video for it, but obviously COVID didn't allow for that, so we've just finished a lyric video for it. The files are currently with our engineer. They're almost finished. We've just sent back our crit for the second mixer, so by the end of this week we should have everything ready to go and to be sent to CD Baby. You can then get it on official launch on the 26th of worldwide launch on the 26th of June. You'll get it on all online platforms, Apple Music, Google, Deezer, Spotify, everything. And we are releasing so we're actually printing the album cover, or we are releasing physical CDs, but we're doing the album cover's coming out in 2 colors. The one is like in this blue, purple, yellow, and then the other one is on just like very fiery red, orange, yellow. And we're releasing 100 of each, individually numbered and signed by the band, limited edition, that you can order on our website.
That's so cool, though. I love that option, that variety. I mean, that's not something a lot of bands are doing. You know, a lot of guys are sticking purely to the digital platforms, and hearing about more guys creating these cool, like, physical copies and something that serves like a purpose that can be used as a great memory. That's really cool.
Yeah, like we did it with the first album, and it worked quite well. Like on our launch night, we sold all 100 individually numbered and signed. So we thought, let's do it again. Obviously now we're doing 200 because we thought, like, what can we do that's a little bit different? Because I mean, our fans are very dedicated. They buy everything we release, constantly releasing different shirt designs, caps, mugs, whatever the case. And every time we've got stuff, they get bought. So we thought, what could we do that's slightly different? And we were like, let's, I remember in 2008 when AC/DC released Black Ice, they released it in 3 different colors. So we're like, let's release in 2 different colors. Let's take a punt. And you'll never know until you try. I mean, like we did when we decided to tour the country. We didn't know, people didn't know who we were. We got in our cars and we went to different cities. And I mean, if you want to get recognized, if you want to be called back to cities, if you want to sort of leave a little bit of a legacy, that's the type of stuff you got to do. You can't be doing what everyone else is doing. Dress different, do different shows, do different concepts when you release your album. You always got to kind of just appeal to people's imagination.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And like a lot of what you've spoken about here, I see it can be used as a lot of advice to people trying to either get recognized or starting a band. Like, personally, what would you say is your key points of advice to an artist just getting into this, just based on everything that you've spoken about, how you handle your band's image, your performances, the media releases, everything along those lines? What's the one piece of advice that you would give them to do it as well as you guys are?
Well, the first thing is have a thick skin.
Definitely, I get it.
You're going to be called dad rock. You're going to be called talentless. I mean, there's a guy that stalks us on our YouTube channel telling us how little talent we have, because I mean, we play 4-string bass, 6-string guitar. There's nothing, like I said, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just playing good old school rock and roll, heavy metal. There's no like funny time signatures. So we get dissed a lot for that. But I just view it as jealousy, because when you get up on stage, we kick everyone's ass. That's a
lot of the time what it is, though, is because, this person, you guys are making a name for yourselves. You are doing really well. And you talk about it in a very modest sense, but you guys are doing really damn well. It's fantastic to hear.
The difference really is, and I mean, when I mention the younger guys, I mean, I'm 41 now. Like, I do this. This for me is like a round of golf. I'm not competitive. If a band comes through, I'm super supportive. I mean, I'm super supportive of Bleeding Spawn, Volvadenia, anyone, Infanteria, Theatre Runs Red, you know, because I just want to see SA music bands, there's no, I mean, first of all, we're in no direct competition because we're the only one in this fucking genre of album. And I just want to see everyone, like, all the SA bands do really well. And the thing is, I suppose when it comes to advice, like, whether you're doing it as a hobby, or whether you're doing it on a more professional basis, or whether you're just, like I said, just a round of golf, whatever you do, you've got to put 100% in it, develop a thick skin, and you've got to always just think ahead of the curve, man. I mean, And I mean, no disrespect to the genre or the stuff, but I mean, when I go to Rumors and I watch a bill 4 or 5 bands and they're all playing deathcore and they all look the same, they all sound the same, bro, I'm going to go home sooner or later. Or I'm going to forget about what's on and I'm going to go, like, you'll see there's a lot of bands that play the same genre, but people will only watch the bigger name ones. You know, like, if Volvadinho or Bleeding Spawn are on a lineup where the bands are playing exactly what they play, I can guarantee you people are just going to watch Volvadinho. I see it all the time. Because they've got the name. So you got to stand out. You got to do something different. I mean, there's a Joburg band, also a bunch of buddies like us, Chaos Doctrine. I mean, their shows, they're like industrial death metal. Bro, they've got television screens. Like, look, it takes them forever to set up.
I can't imagine.
They've got these TV screens with these videos, decomposing carcasses and violence and army stuff. And like, while you're watching, listening to the band, you're checking this, these videos. The vocalist has got this hell of a cool mic stand that he had made for himself. And that's like cool. Like they come on and I'm like, hold on, I want to check these oaks out. Like I said, there's a lot of death metal and a lot of core. So if you're going to play death metal and core, how are you going to stand out? You need to come up with some form of marketing strategy. Love masks or not, maybe wear masks. That's how Slipknot's do, masks and overalls. I mean, maybe in the 90s if you thought about it, people would say, that's so dumb, it's been done before. I mean, Marilyn Manson wore makeup, Kiss wore makeup, Alice Cooper's done all sorts of shit, but they wore the masks with this, with these overalls, and they stood out. I mean, the guys they used to like sweat, and they used to suffer so much in those overalls and masks, they used to puke in it.
Yes.
But you got to push through. If you've got a concept, you got to ride with it. I mean, we've got the stage names, we've got the old school thing, we ride with it, But you got to believe in yourself. You got to be 110% in that project. And I think that's a big problem we have with the SAC because we don't get the backing. We sort of lose that belief in ourselves. And you can see it sometimes in shows. You can just see the guys are pitching up and you can see they're really not giving it, they're not giving it everything. And I mean, the minute you don't give it everything, you're not letting the crowd down, you're actually only letting yourself down.
Yeah, no, that's a very, very interesting way of looking at it. Like, and it makes a lot of sense. It does. Because now I'm talking about this, with you talking about this, I'm thinking about the Durban scene in general. And I can understand why like your show here would have been a sort of a miss because it's not something that the Durban musos generally do. I think we have one band down here that follows through on a solid performance and in terms of putting effort not just into great music but into a solid performance. That would be Crucifixion, where they have a variety of props and once again stage names and outfits and stuff. And they're the only band down here that I can think of that do something like that, and they've definitely built up a following around it, and with their dedication to it.
Yeah, I mean, look, whatever you sell, you've got to sell well. I mean, even if you do it on an amateur basis like we do, it's selling yourself as a brand. You've got to market your brand. Doesn't necessarily mean you need pentagrams or upside down crosses or leather pants but take Ailstorm. I mean, Ailstorm have become a household name in Europe by taking this concept of pirate metal
and just running with it.
And they just run with it. They take the piss out of themselves. I mean, the new album came out yesterday. It's called something like silly, like The Curse of the Crystal Coconut or whatever. I mean, what?
What even?
The guys, they're hell of cool. They're not scary. They've gone to something completely different, and it works. People will remember Ailstorm over another decapitated corpse, band because they are so different. Like when you get thrown into the same as you get these genres, like you get the genre defining bands, and then there's like a ton of them that come behind them because they love that and they want to sound like that, but they will never stand out because for them to stand out, they need to do something different.
Yeah, there needs to be that defining factor.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like I said, and that's what we try to do. We've tried to do the old school thing, and what's been nice about it is that we can bring the old school thing and make it refreshing because no one else is doing it. Suddenly guys are like, why are you wearing high tops on stage? What's a bullet belt? Wow, we get teased about how tight our pants are, Then I take that as a compliment. It's like, fuck yeah, I'm not going to wear baggy pants. I'm not a rapper, I'm a fucking frontman of an old school heavy metal band. The tighter the better. And I can guarantee you your chick is watching. That's kind of our attitude. We don't do it in a cuck way, but you've got to drive that. You need to have that confidence, because if you don't have confidence in the product you're selling, then you're going to get up on that stage and it's like, fucking forget it, whether you're a Satan worshipping black metal band or you're a Harley Davidson riding old school metal band. I mean, you're going to bomb out.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. It definitely does. And it's not from a place of arrogance either. It's from, like you were saying, being thick-skinned from handling all of this in the past, and then still having confidence in your product, because that's what your music is. It is essentially your product. You are trying to sell yourself.
100%. And I mean, you know how hard it is when you get up on stage, especially when you're playing a new song. It's like, like hell of a nervous. Will the people dig it? Won't they dig it? But you can't come across as that, because the minute you show that, they're not going to like it. Whenever we play a new song, I always have everyone like say yay or nay after the song. And if I get like a thumbs down, I immediately go tune it. Well, why is it thumbs down? Tell me now. But that's what they think about it. They're like, what you see is what you get. Well, I'll give you a fucking answer right now. Let's work together. Let's get this shit going. And I mean, you'll see the more successful bands in South Africa have kind of developed like they've created like a niche for themselves, and they've run with it and they've done really well. From Orgasm, I mean, pigs from outer space.
Oh, hail bacon, basically.
Exactly. I mean, how many of those shirts do you see every time you go out? That's kind of the Hailstorm concept. Run with something silly. You got hell of a talented musos playing really good music, and but they've stuck to something and they've owned it. Theatre Runs Red as well. I mean, Theatre Runs Red's a fantastic black metal band, quite possibly one of the best black metal bands in the Southern Hemisphere. But they've stuck to something. They've got this amazing aesthetic. They get up on stage, they completely blow you away. And, they get off on stage, they off stage are the nicest people. But, on stage, like fucking hell, you're like shit, you're scared. That's what they're promoting, if I'm going to watch a black metal band, I don't want to feel comfortable. I want to feel a little uncomfortable.
That's part of the performance. That's part of, it's part of what it's about. It's those sort of themes.
The minute I start feeling too comfortable with heavy metal, then I know I'm not listening to heavy metal anymore.
That's fantastic. Now, in closing, do you have anything else to say, or where can people find your music, Deadline's music? Where can people find you, and if you have any sort of shout-outs to give to people?
Okay, look, we're on all the social media pages. On Facebook, we're Deadline. On Instagram, we're Deadline Metal. Twitter, we're also Deadline Metal. You can find our music all over the like Spotify, Deezer, all that type of stuff. If you're ever looking for original copies of anything, whatever, you can, we've got our website, you can find us. And shout out, bro, to each and every one that makes this dream possible, man. It's every time, like I said, it's for like, I like to view this as a round of golf. It's just a round of golf where you just make people happy, and you kind of, for everyone that's believed in us, everyone that comes out to our shows, everyone that's bought our merch, everyone that is patiently waiting for the album, thanks for supporting us, and thanks for making our childhood dreams a reality at the ripe old age of 41.
That's fantastic. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I've really enjoyed chatting to you and having your perspectives on these things. Thank you so much for having a chat with us.
Thanks for having me on.
All right, fantastic. And in closing, you can find me on YouTube, you can find me on Facebook, all of this, Instagram and Twitter, all under Marcel Smuts. And you can find Sludge Underground. You can listen to this episode, or if you're going to be listening to this one, it'll be on Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, and the episode will also be available on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
Welcome to my dying zone. Welcome to my fallen home. I'll take a life just to forget all my deepest, darkest regrets. And consequence, my favorite taste. Some more things change, some more they stay the same. Prophetic shelf life engineer. Another day, another year, better tell. You hear me screaming now. It's all the same. Do you hear me? Thank